All right, so this is going to be just a general reading, kind of see what comes through. I'm going to use the Moonchild Tarot deck to start. Let's see what comes through. I'm getting a sense that there's a lot going on, like right away. You have a lot of thoughts, and the fact that one of these cards isn't coming out right away just kind of really tells me that there's a lot going on. Page of Cups. Okay, let's get a couple more cards. Six of Cups. Okay. Eight of Wands in reverse. Let's get one more. I really like these cards. They're a little stiff, so you have to like shuffle them a lot before they kind of break in a little bit. But it does get easier. Okay, there's too many cards, so I'm going to take this one right here. Actually, I'm going to take them all. And there's one other one that flipped over in here. There it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So right away, there's a sense of needing to communicate something around maybe something from the past, something you've been thinking about. There's some lack of movement on it, and it almost feels like you're running kind of away from it. Like maybe it's a conversation that you want to have, but you're not having for whatever reason. There's a need for some balance and some focusing in on yourself. Something about, the balance is coming through really strong with the Temperance and the Six of Pentacles, like equal give and take. There's something here where maybe, what is that? Like maybe in the past there wasn't, maybe you overgave in a situation. Maybe you were overgiving. But this Page of Wands really tells me that if you were to have this conversation, it would be fairly successful. And you might have an internal knowing about that because I grabbed the Moonchild deck instead of another deck. So there could be like an intuitively drawn or known outcome to this, which really does look like it's going to be a positive outcome. And the conversation might be around the lack of like the equal give and take, or the lack of balance. Sorry, I'm shuffling these off just because they're so big and they're kind of stiff. Here, I'll show you. See, look at it isn't up on my cards. All right, let's put those back. Don't judge my horrible nail polish. I totally need to redo it. I'm going to do one more shuffle, and then we'll get into the next message. Spirit, can you please show me what this conversation is relating? What is this conversation relating? Queen of Wands. Okay, something that you're super passionate about, something with passion. I'm seeing a lot of like fire. A lot of fire. A lot of wands. All right, so that's too many. I'm going to take these two. The Knight of Cups in reverse. And the Two of Cups. Okay, so this is definitely going to have to do with like a person or a love situation, with the cups and the passion coming out. It's something that you're really passionate about. It almost looks like there you thought that there was going to be some type of an offer or some type of coming forward with an offer of union of some sort. So possibly seeing eye to eye, getting on the same page with somebody, and you're really passionate about this person full heartedly. However, this person hasn't come forward yet. So you might be feeling a little bit frustrated around this. Can you guys give us additional information here? What's happening? Whoa. These cards, I tell you. All right, so let's just take a couple of these. And I'm going to take these two because I have seen this card come out so many times at the bottom of the deck, and it finally did come out, so I feel like I need to grab it. So let's talk about it a little bit. So you have this offer that you were expecting that it doesn't really look like you've received yet. And that's that communication that we were thinking that we were going to see, or the communication that we wanted to see, but there was that lack of movement there. The Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups and the Five of Cups, it's almost like there is like some type of truth that the Queen of Cups is the most intuitive. And, I love that I said that earlier, that you might already know that this is coming, or have a deep feeling in it, because the Queen of Cups is, deeply compassionate and deeply in tuned. And this Five of Cups, it's just really kind of feeling like you're missing something. Something's not there. And this Knight of Swords really, the determination to get it, but there's still this something that you're missing with the situation. Something that you're missing. Spirit, can you please show us what our viewer is missing? What is our viewer missing? What is the viewer missing? What is the viewer missing? Three of Wands in reverse. Can we get one more, Spirit? The Three of Wands in reverse is like, to me, it's like maybe not acting on plans. Like maybe there was plans or something that was going to unfold that didn't. Spirit, can I just get one more? I'm going to take this one right here. The Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Three of Wands in reverse and the Five of Pentacles. I mean, this is interesting energy because it almost feels like there was plans for something. However, there was maybe a feeling of resistance, kind of feeling almost almost like they just didn't go the distance for whatever reason. And I'm really called to read the Five of Pentacles, so I'm going to do that real quick. Five of Pentacles. Let's see here. Very often, these painful phases corrode the last impressions on our spirit, slowly depleting our sense of security and peace. So there was plans that were maybe made and didn't come to fruition, and they really kind of like depleted you. Like they made you feel like there was something else that was supposed to come, and maybe that conversation you thought was coming, there was plans for it. Maybe this person and you had made plans and it didn't come to fruition, and it really has made you feel like your self-worth is maybe low. Spirit, can you please give us more information around these plans? What were these plans? The Sun. Again, more fire energy. Fix these cards real quick. More fire energy. You might be a Leo. The person might be a Leo. Aries, I heard, for whatever reason. These two. Yes. maybe there was like a reconciliation that you thought was going to happen, that hasn't happened yet. But I mean, this death and rebirth, and leading to this abundance, it really looks like it's coming. It just is being delayed for whatever reason. Why is it being delayed? Spirit, can you please show me what's delaying this transformation, this rebirth? What is delaying it? Cards flipped over. The Chariot, the Queen of Pentacles. I think your person is working more on finances. They are really moving forward in that area. They might have had a recent job switch. They might have lost a job recently. They might not be able, they might not feel like they can offer you what you deserve. Spirit, can you please show us this person's headspace? What does this person's headspace look like? What does this person's headspace look like? Again, the cards are being stubborn to come out. So you and your person might really be in their head. I mean, I'm not getting a whole lot of swords, actually. I don't think we've gotten any swords. Oh, yeah, one sword. So I wouldn't be surprised if more swords come out for your person. Okay. And there it is. Heartbreak, strength, in the Seven of Wands. Interesting. Your person might feel very heartbroken over the situation. Maybe there was some type of an ending or a fight, and there's something about standing their ground, and having the strength to stand their ground. And that's kind of what's causing that delay, right? So there's that heartbreak. This person might have recently gotten out of a connection, or there was an ending between the two of you, that really hurt this person's feelings. I have a feeling that they're not really sharing that, um, because there was this communication that's needed to be had, but isn't being had. There's these delays for this transformation. But it really looks like a lot of that has to do with the fact that this person is really standing their ground. They have their heart broken, and they're really digging deep to have that strength to hold their ground for whatever reason. Spirit, can you please show us near future energy with this person? Where is near future energy? Okay, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Nine of Cups. Yeah, something's telling me right away that this person's not willing to go through the same cycles. They're going to put in the effort that they need to make sure that they are not going through the same cycles. And it really looks like that is going to lead to this Nine of Cups and the Queen of Swords, right? So just being really open and clear about what it is that they want. So that way they can achieve this Nine of Cups, but they're over the cycles. They're not going to do the cycles any longer. Now I'm going to grab another deck of cards real quick because I kind of want to get some clarifying cards from here. This is the Crow Tarot. I love this deck. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I got the Four of Pentacles on the bottom, so really just holding on too tight. Okay. The Fool, the Leap of Faith, the strength to have the Leap of Faith. We just got strength for your person, and I love the fact that it's coming in with the Fool because it's just, a leap of faith. We got two more cards that came out, so I'm just going to move these over a bit. With my terrible nail polish. And we've got the Nine of Cups again and the King of Pentacles. I love this. I mean, we just got the Nine of Cups, and that's where that person wants to go. But he also looks like, or she, doesn't matter, really looks like they want to be in that King of Pentacles. They want to be able to offer you the world, but they're willing to take this leap of faith, and they have the strength to do it because they have the strength to to stand their ground right now. So it's really exciting to kind of see that this is where this is going. I love that. And I have the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck, and it's like releasing burdens. Your person might have a burden in their life. It's interesting because I've cut open now to the Devil twice, and I really wasn't going to mention it at first, but it coming out twice, I have to. And really, what I'm seeing there is, and I just dropped this card. So what I was seeing there with um, that 10 of Wands and the Devil card, it's almost like there is a big burden that they need to release, because if they don't release it's going to continue to bring up that heartbreak, and that's the second time that we've gotten that as well. So it doesn't surprise me at all that um, that's come out. So there might be, your person might have like some type of an addiction. They might overwork or whatnot, but they know that whatever has happened is kind of causing that heartbreak. So let's see here. Can we get some additional clarifying cards here, Spirit? Can I get two more? Okay, we got three. So let's see here. So we got the two, we got the High Priestess, Two of Pentacles, sorry, and we got Union again. And it's almost like this person has this balancing act going on, maybe within their heart as well as their finances. Um, but there's a deep knowing about this, and we talked about this a little bit when I first started, that there's a knowing that you might have. It seems like your person has a deep knowing as well. They really do understand that they want this union, but they need to let go of this heartbreak, and they need to work through this balancing act that they're doing. And I really do feel like this balancing act is something to do with their heart space as well as finances. Um, Finances coming in through strong, so like their work, um, the loss of a job, maybe like a pay cut, or um, maybe the hope for a promotion, I just heard as well. So like they have a hope that they're going to get promoted into a job, so they're working extra hard on it. This overwork could have also led to this heartbreak, and you feeling like they pushed you away, when in reality they were really trying to give you the world. Or can we get some more information here? What is additional information that we need to know? We got the Five of Cups again. We had the Five of Cups here. We're missing something. The Magician and the Sun again. So it's like you guys are both missing something important here. Now, the fact that the Magician and the High Priestess came out really kind of is that divine feminine and masculine energy, and that sun, that rebirth, that growth, right? It's almost like you're missing something that you're manifesting, like you're trying, you guys are trying to get on the same page with something, but you guys are both missing something. And I really think that thing that we're missing is that rebirth, right? That conversation, that open, honest conversation about balance, about what it is that you both need and want, so you guys can get that union. The Two of Cups has come out twice. Twos might be significant because I just realized two, two, two. That can also indicate like a divine type of connection, especially with the Magician and the Two of Cups coming out. And I just cut open to this, which I think is great, because we're talking about transformation and a rebirth as well as balance. And that balance has come out quite a few times, and really kind of focusing in on what you both need. What is it that you need in this relationship in order for it to move forward? And again, I mean, this is almost verbatim what we saw earlier. The Three of Wands in reverse, there is plans that you are not moving forward with, but you've already made them, and that would be more that Two of Wands energy, right? So there's that Two of Wands energy. Um, that is the making of a plan. And the Three of Wands is really somebody who's made a plan, who's just not acting on it if it's in reverse. So there's like a plan that you're not acting on per se, but there's this determination to let go of these burdens. And, we had seen the burdens, or I had talked about the burdens earlier, and I just looked at the bottom of the deck, and it's that Knight of Wands again, which we had the Knight of Wands earlier, which is really kind of like that runner energy. Like there's something that you're running away from, these burdens that you're putting down, but you're running away. And I really think you're running away from this conversation. And I don't really understand why you'd be running away from this conversation, because it seems like you want to have it. Spirit, why is our viewer running away from this conversation? See how that just like landed? The Queen of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. It almost feels like there is, and I just looked at the bottom of the deck, and it's, the Ace of Swords. So there's clarity. The Queen of Swords is speaking her truth, and the Wheel of Fortune here being in the right side. You might feel like you have done this before, right? You guys might have had a similar conversation. You might have, drawn on or drowned on about something in the past, and maybe you guys just weren't listening to one another. And your person might feel that that is kind of the cycle that you guys continue to go down. And so there's something here about just not really fully being honest when you guys are having these conversations. Maybe emotions get overwhelming. And instead of just saying, hey, you know what, let's just take a break and come back to this, let's just leave this right here so we don't do the same thing over and over again, where we get into a big fight and, I'm mean to you, you're mean to me, and then we don't talk. So maybe there's a sense of, um, you know, the way you break that cycle is start having the conversation and be open and honest about, hey, this is how I want to have this conversation. We've done this a couple times. If we start to have emotions, I just want us to stop and come back to it. That way we can break this cycle of, continuously fighting about whatever it is. Spirit, is there any other messages that want to come out of this deck before we get moving? Whoa. Okay. So there is a lot that is going on. A lot of cards just came out. So I'm going to pick those back up and just see if Spirit wants to give us anything more specific. I love that for us right now. Okay. Yes. I love this for us. There is our transformation, which we've been talking about this entire time. I'm not surprised to see that card come out. We already saw it come out. We saw it in the bottom of the deck, and we talked about it a little while ago. And the Queen of Wands came back out in the Seven of Swords. So there might be some type of deception here. We've talked a lot about the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords came out twice. We saw the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck a minute ago. So there's something that maybe you're not being, you or your person isn't being completely honest about. Maybe you're holding up some type of a mask. But in order for this rebirth to happen and you to follow that passion that you feel so strongly about, there's going to need to be a level of honesty about whatever is being withheld. Okay, that's really coming through strong. All right, let's get our next deck. And I love this for us. Like, we've got the High Priestess again, and we got the King of Pentacles again. So really just that feeling of that intuitive knowing around what each other wants. Your person really does have and I love this. We got the Lovers and the High Priestess still at the bottom. And so there might be some choices that need to be made as well, that maybe you're unwilling to make, or those are the choices that you're still running from. Let's see here. These bunches aren't going back together today. It was raining yesterday in Arizona, so it's a little muggy. So my cards are sticking a little bit. And I always do my readings outside because it's just so grounding. Give it one more, Spirit. Yep. The Three of Swords again. What the heck? Your person and you potentially are in some serious heartbreak. Yeah, and there's this need of letting go. And I saw the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the Crow Tarot, and there's this feeling of letting go and letting this healing occur, because this heartbreak has now come out in every single deck um, that we've used, and so there's this really deep sense um, of healing from this. Whatever happened in the past looks like it was fairly significant. So maybe you guys had a significant fight, maybe there was a significant ending. Something significant has occurred for the Three of Swords to come out three different times. And I'm really centering this around your person because it's when it initially had come out. However, that you could have some healing that you need to do as well. I almost feel like you Queen of Swords this person, like you gave them the business. What else do I need to know? We'll get a little bit more information and then I'll get some advice for you. And then we'll do some channeled messages. The Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I mean, there's a deep sense of needing to focus on yourself and letting go of whatever betrayal. Your person, I just heard a message that your person may have cheated or you may have cheated. And that's not always true. It's not for everybody, but there's a sense of betrayal. So maybe a conversation that occurred that felt like really hurtful, right? Something really hurtful occurred here. Um, and the way to kind of get past that is to really, focus on yourself. Do that self building that you need to do. That's really what's going to allow for that healing to get past this heartbreak. All right, I'm going to use this new deck. It has some really beautiful animal cards. It's called the Wild Mystic Oracle. And I love this, but some of the animals are like funnily like named funny. Like the bunny is the jackrabbit. And so they're kind of hard to find in the book. And I am going to read from the book on these because that's kind of the point of these guys. Let's see here. Can we get our viewer, please? We get one card for our viewer. And then we'll get one card for your person as well. I want only one. The Horse and Trust. And I'm actually going to take this one as well because it came out together and I didn't grab it. And so we have the horse. Hopefully it's the horse. Yes, it is. Okay. So let's see here. And I'm really calling to the shadow version of that horse. So I'm going to read that first. The creature entices wandering humans to ride it, then runs into the water where the victims are drowned. Much as the light reading of this card warns of blind trust, the shadow reading warns between misplaced trust. So again, I really feel like there is that deception, that feeling of betrayal. Don't put your trust into somebody who is not willing to reciprocate, essentially. And then you got the frog, which is all about healing. Frog. Now, the frog is really kind of a special animal, and it really has to do a lot with like the healing and the rebirth. This is associated with healing, may have stemmed from the lore that linked the frog with death and rebirth due to their transformation from their tiny water based tadpole to their adult form. The frog card is one physical and mental health. Healing can seem like a long and adorant process, but this card of hope and recuperation. So, there's a deep sense of um, watching who you trust and how you trust it, right? Follow that intuition. Your intuition came out so strong multiple times. Your person, it might be in a position of heartbreak and betrayal. Um, which kind of has made them maybe be deceptive in the past. So, follow your intuition. If you feel like this person is putting you in a position where you just don't quite trust them, follow that. Maybe they just haven't gone through that healing yet. If that ever occurs, you just focus on you. You are worthy. You are worthy of a happy relationship. You're worthy of love and compassion. And if this person isn't doing that for you, then you need to just keep on moving on yourself. Okay? Spirit, can you please give us our viewer's person, please? Can you give us our viewer's person? Rest. And we got the bear in reverse. Let's see what the bear in reverse is. I know the bear, when it comes out of hibernation, really talks about, um, you know, coming out of hibernation and dealing with cycles. Let's see what it talks about in the reverse. There are many forms of hibernation, generally caused by weather, lack of food, and seasonal cues. Bears form a taper. While their bodies use minimal energy, they are still able to wake if necessary. The bear can be a symbol of readiness, able to rise from a slumber and spring into action. Many cultures see the bear as a representation of power. Warriors, such as, I'm not even going to try to say that because I will uh, botch it, but some type of a warrior, don bear skin to fight their enemies or harness the bear's power. The bear at rest is a uh, is coolly springed, ready to act if disturbed. The cards symbolize a well of untapped power, a simmering tam- tamper, and potential. So it's like this person is just sitting in slumber, like they're ready to act, which is what we saw earlier, but there's this deep feeling of betrayal and heartbreak. That needs to be communicated around, especially these cycles that you guys look like you're going through. So having that conversation really does look like it's going to be positive, but when you have that conversation, be mindful to not repeat your same cycles, right? So if you continuously fight when you have these conversations, set the expectation at the beginning that if it starts to go down that path, that you both agree to walk away because you want to break that cycle. I think your person will hear that, especially since that's a deep sense of knowing for them and they want to break those cycles. They want to have that conversation. They want to move forward, but um, they need to be able to let go of those continuous fights. All right, I'm going to get one more deck here. We're going to get channel messages and then we'll end it with that. I just love this. I opened up to I'm the man. It's like, oh, okay. You're the man. You might make more money than this person, or you guys might have had a differences in finances, and that's come through a couple times, like around finances with your person. This card wants to come out, so why is it that you love me? We were just talking about differences, and maybe this difference, is some of that finance. This love is crazy. Yes. I wish to be more like you. This makes sense to me because it seems like there are these cycles of like fighting and going back and forth and you know um that really does feel like it's crazy when you keep doing that over and over and over again. I wish to be more like you. I mean, there could be this like this deep intuitive knowing that you have, which I feel like when people are intuitive, like it radiates. Like people are drawn to people who are intuitive for whatever reason. Like, I feel like people want to experience that. So this person might be looking at you from that perspective. And why is it that you love me? I mean, this person really does feel maybe less worthy. And with those Five of Pentacles coming out earlier, sometimes the Five of Pentacles talks about somebody who's put another person like on a pedestal, right? They're up in like I think in my crow tarot, there's crows in the tree where they're abundant, and then there's crows on the ground that are just picking at the ground, right? If they could just look up and see the crows in the tree, they could simply fly up there, right? And they don't. And so, it really kind of sometimes can symbolize somebody who's put somebody up on a pedestal and they don't understand why you could like them. So, just I think, your advice here is to be open, have the conversation that you already are planning on having, um, but be honest, and really try to break those cycles. So, no fighting. Set that expectation right from the beginning of the conversation and walk away if it's getting too heated. That way, you guys really can break those cycles. Your person is going to see that and really appreciate it. It's going to help them get past some of their heartbreak with this connection. All right, well, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.